Hey, what's happening guys? It's the Visuals Peak. Today I'm going to be reviewing the Handheld 350M. Now, I know what you guys are going to say. I know I'm late to the party with this one. I know it came out time ago, but it will be a shame, a retro channel like mine, not to be reviewing the Handheld 350M. Now, I know some of the retro handhelds I've been doing on my channel in the past weren't exactly glowing or spectacular, but this one is out of this world and you'll see why in my video. This one plays PlayStation and the buttons and everything about it is so smooth and responsive. So to prove I'm not an old stick in the mud who likes to whinge, watch this video and some of the exciting things I say about the Handheld 350M. So there's nothing really new in this RG350M compared to the one that was released back in 2019 September, the RG350. The RG350M is the third in a family of 4 versions of this machine, the fourth being RG280M. The RG350M takes the metal shell concept from November 2019 and improves upon it massively. The motherboard has had a complete rethink, moving various buttons and ports to better positions on the shell. Both SD cards are now accessible externally and the D-pad and analog stick placements are swapped. In fact, the analog sticks have been completely replaced for wider low profile ones too. And guys, to top it off, that low resolution 320 by 240 LCD screen has been replaced by a 640 by 480 one. Not just that, it's apparently been laminated too, so the clarity is really good. The new analog sticks are nothing short of dreamy. They sit flush to the rest of the controls and have a larger surface area than before. They're very nice to use. Unlike the previous sticks, they do not have rubber caps. They're molded from one solid piece of rubberized plastic. I'm pretty sure they're the same as the Joy-Cons of the Nintendo Switch analog sticks. Likewise, the D-pad is a shining example of how a D-pad should be done. Whilst there was not much to complain about on the previous 2 versions, the D-pad on the RG350M is much better, man. There is no mushiness at all. It has a perfect pivot and the indented ridges of the previous design have been removed. And of course, the placement is better for those of us with bigger hands now that it's up top. The rest of the controls are pretty much the same. That is to say, they're really very good. All 4 triggers are easily reached and clicked softly when pressed from any angle. The start and select buttons are slightly taller than they were in the previous metal version too, so you don't need to get your fingernail on them to press them in. As I said before, the LCD is now a laminated 640 by 480 IPS display. It's really difficult to show you on camera, but trust me, this new display is so crisp and clear that it's hard to see how we put up with a 320 by 240 for so long. The color temperature is slightly more warm pinkish, I would say, on the RG350M, which I prefer to the bluish hue of the previous models. The RG350M contains the same JZ4770 CPU which can be found in other handhelds. For example, JCW0, RG350, New Pocket Go V2, RG280M. You can expect very good emulation of all consoles up to and including the PlayStation 1, like I said in my intro. But emulation isn't all it can do. I don't know if I'm pronouncing this right guys, but OpenDingux is built on Linux, so there are plenty of ported games available for it too. But emulation isn't all that it can do. OpenDingux is built on Linux, so there are plenty of ported games available for it too. The ship system is a OpenDingux and it comes preloaded with tons of emulators, games and ports. It also came preloaded with thousands of ROMs. I love the fact that it came preloaded with Streets of Rage Remake because that game is really hard to find. And not only that, if you've got a retro handheld, it's hard to put that game from your computer onto your handheld if it doesn't come preloaded. So I'm really happy about that. And for those of you who don't know or ever played Streets of Rage Remake, maybe I'll make a separate video for that too. It's no exaggeration to say that the RG350M has the best build quality for any Chinese handheld I've ever owned. I'm not saying that frivolously because it's made of metal. It is incredibly impressive how well designed and assembled it is. The previous metal version of the RG350 did have its problems though, People reported that the analog sticks getting stuck or shoulder buttons not quite clicking properly. That's because all Anbernich did was take the RG350 board and buttons and put them in a metal shell with different tolerances. The RG350M has had a complete overhaul to accommodate its new casing, and it really shows. You could easily mistake it for a product from one of the big boys, apart from the fact they'd never consider building a handheld from metal because it's too expensive. So, to conclude my video, I have to say we are in an era of higher power armed handheld systems, whether that be for Android or Linux based games. Gamers rightfully expect to be able to emulate consoles like the PSP, N64 and Dreamcast on the handhelds these days. Whilst it's true that other machines can handle some of that, it really is touch and go whether you get the performance from any given game. I have to say there's something quite comforting about knowing with some certainty that whatever you want to play on the RG350M will probably work just fine within its limitations. And I would say that Open Dinguts is a far superior system to any of those available for the Odroid Go Advance or RK2020, which by the way I do need to make a video about as well. I know I'm running late on that one as well, and that does play Dreamcast by the way. It has had many years of polishing. It's customizable, stable, straightforward, and overall a pleasure to use. The RG350M is the flagship JZ4770 handheld. It took a few attempts for Anbernich to get there, but they did it in the end. It's hard to find much to criticize it for because if pushed, I would say that it is heavy. At roughly 250 grams, it's a good 85 grams heavier than the original plastic version. It's the metal that makes it what it is though. It looks and feels rock solid and it screams premium product from every angle. Anbernich learned from their first attempt and improved upon it almost every way, so credit to them. The RG350M is available all over the place now, and if you're after one, then I would just go wherever they're the cheapest on the day. I should probably end this video by saying that I paid in full for my RG350M. It wasn't donated for review. Not that it makes any difference to the way I review something, but if you're sensing shenanigans by my outrageous positivity, then rest assured it is because I am genuinely impressed. So that's the end of my video. I hope you liked my review. I know I was so positive about it, but I just really love this Anbernich 350M. Honestly, I have nothing to criticize it for. Seriously. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave your comments. Let me know what you think. And that's it, guys. Have a nice one.